everyone and welcome to another video. Today's video I am doing a books I read in one sitting video. Now I love making these videos because I talk to you all about the books that I have read in one sitting, meaning I sat down, opened the book, read from cover to cover, closed the book and stood up again. So I read them all in one sitting, and which is very much an indicator that these books are fantastic in my eyes. So I'm going to chat to you about them and tell you why I read them in one sitting. I'm going to start off with In the After by Elisa Dane. Now this book is a really brilliant contemporary, and for those who are watching and have been watching for a long time, you know that I don't like contemporary books. But saying that, this book has kind of blown me away, and it's really quite an important book as well. It follows a girl in a school, and she is finally in the popular group, and she kind of has this conflict in a conflict because they are really horrible to a certain group of boys. And it turns out that these boys actually end up taking the school and killing a lot of people in the school shooting. And that is such a massive epidemic in America, as I believe, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I believe it is a problem in America, and I found this book very moving to read, and seeing the issue from both perspectives of the victim and also the victim of the bullying and also the victim of the shooting. And this girl also has been through an issue in her past as well, which kind of comes to the surface during this time. And it's a really interesting take. It's like Mean Girls, but with this major issue. So I highly recommend In the After by Elisa Dane. It really kind of blew me away, and it's very much an important book to read. I don't think I've ever read a book that's kind of made me feel a certain way like that, and I don't think I'll ever be able to explain the feeling I had during that reading experience, but it was very strong. So yes, Lisa Dane's In the After. Next, I'm mentioning Monument 14 by Emmy Labor. Now this book I read in one sitting. In fact, every single book in this series I read in one sitting, like one after the other. This follows this group of teens getting stuck in a superstore during this like apocalypse, and this atom or this thing is in the air which affects your blood type differently, and it is the most thrilling, suspenseful read ever. It's perfect for fans of The Walking Dead, especially the season when they're in the prison. I absolutely loved this book. It was so epic and fast-paced and heart-pounding, and I think it's going to be one of those ones I reread in the summer, so I highly recommend you check out Monument 14. I read At Water's Edge by S. Macpherson last week in one sitting on my Monday, my 2-hour break, which I mentioned in my previous video. And this is a book about a girl who lives in this normal day life just like ours, and her parents have died, and her brother blames her for her parents' death, and you read and find out why. But he actually beats her and is very abusive to her. And after like lots of issues at the beginning of the book, she finds herself drinking by this lake, and this lake is by a portal that she did not know exist. But this girl in this group come through the portal to see her, and it turns out that she looks exactly like this other girl who's just come through the portal, and they exchange places, and our main character goes through to this world where it's filled with people with magic powers, these superpowers, and you have different types of powers and these different people can control them. And it's almost like a bit of Hogwartsy in the sense that they are at school, and then the actual superpowered girl who moves now to modern day, she is living in modern day life and having to cope with that. But there's this kind of like ongoing war kind of thing, and it's very suspenseful, and I really like the idea of these alternate universes, but you having somebody that like is exactly like you in these universes. I really enjoyed that. So yes, At Water's Edge was definitely a fast-paced read, and it's a relatively big book too. Like, they're massive pages, and it's about 350 pages long, so I must have been engrossed in this book to read it in one sitting. Another book I read in one sitting was Gabler and the Swallows by Esther Dalseno. This is a very poetic contemporary with slight magical realism, but also like a little hint of paranormal as well. It's like no book I've ever read before. It's like a modern fairy tale. It follows this boy who finds a girl with swallow wings after she's been shot down by this horrible owner of this vineyard, and he kind of looks after her and kind of unlocks these mysteries, and there's like this hidden world under Italy, because this book's set in Italy, and he goes to Rome for a bit. It's just like a really fantastical book, and yeah, it was such a strange, beautiful book of sorrow and madness and romance and friendship and kind of real life issues too. So yes, I highly recommend Gabriel and the Swallows. When I read it in one sitting, and it blew my mind. Last but not least, I'm recommending Black Crane Point by Claire McFall. This follows a group of teens going camping at this presumably haunted point in this town, in this like hill, and it is creepy and thrilling, and I'm really not going to say much about it because there's the massive twist, but it is fantastic. It's isolation, suspicion, survival and danger. Honestly, it was so good, and the cover's so gorgeous too. I absolutely love the cover. So yes, Black Crane Point by Claire McCall. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read any books in one sitting recently, and if you have, give us a thumbs up. I will see you again in another video very soon. Bye!